Pocari Sweat presents The Sweat You Forget. Hello there, I'm Carrie, and this is your body. You might be wondering why it looks so pale. That's because your body releases at least 2.5 liters of fluids every day. You see, it's the sweat that you forget that's dehydrating you. Like work from home overtime takes effort, causing your body to sweat. In cold temperature, your body burns energy to stay warm. Having caffeinated drinks and alcohol can make you urinate more often. Fever causes sweating as your body is fighting viruses. And when you cry, you release body fluids through tears. But remember, you can always recover with Pocari Sweat. Because of these ions, we make a good match for your body's hydration needs. Ooh, this is our stop. Remember, don't let the sweat you forget keep you from living a healthy and hydrated life. Pocari Sweat.
Bahagi na ng buhay nating mga Pilipino ang sports. Mula sa panahon ng unos, sa tamis ng tagumpay, sa kabila ng pagbabago ng buhay, ang Philippine Sports Commission ay patuloy na magigilingkod sa sambayanan at atletang Pilipino.
Hi, good afternoon po sa ating lahat at sa lahat na nanonood ng ating Psc Chatroom. Ako po si IC Almazan. Sa ngayon po wala ulit si Joash Ricanor dahil currently ay ginaganap ang interagency meeting at may susunod pang press con ng ating FIBA. And yeah, I would like to gusto kong batiin ang lahat ng nanonood ngayon sa ating programa. And we currently have a lot of viewers and again, maraming salamat po sa patuloy na pagtangkilik niyo po sa aming programa. And on behalf of our sponsors, Pagcor, Pioneer Insurance, Pocari Sweat, and PCSO, we would like to thank all of our viewers and for tuning in our program wherein we give you the latest updates about the agency this week. And to give you further details about it, here is our PSC this week. And for our athletes' achievements, we would like to congratulate our Gilas Filipinas girls under 16 who were hailed as champions and were promoted to Division A for the FIBA under 16 Women's Asian Championship in 2025. Congratulations po. And moving on to our athletic athletes, sa nakaraang 2023 Asian Athletics Championships held in Bangkok, Thailand, we would like to congratulate Olympian EJ Obiena for obtaining the gold medal sa men's pole vault at pati na rin po kay Robin Lauren Brown na nagkamit naman ulit ng isa pang gold sa women's 400-meter hurdles. Ayan nga po ang ating athletes' achievements for the past week and for this current week. Congratulations po sa ating mga atleta. At para naman po sa updates natin for our agency's activities for the past Thursday and Friday and of course nakaraang mga days for this week. Last Thursday, PSC Chairman Richard Bachman and Commissioner Edward Heiko graced the opening ceremonies of the 2023 Private Schools Athletic Association, or PRISAA, National Games in front of over 6,000 student athletes from more than 400 schools, colleges, and universities present at Joaquin F. Enriquez Memorial Sports Complex in Zamboanga City. Ayan. Chairman Richard Bachman lauded PRISA Executive Board chaired by Father Vicente Uy and the local organizing committee headed by Zamboanga City Mayor John Dalipe for their hard work in bringing the games again in the national sporting scene after the major halt brought forth by the pandemic. And on that same week, Friday last week, our PSC chairman, Richard Bachman, came out with three major policies that will serve as the guide and direction of the government sports agency in serving the needs of its stakeholders, especially our Filipino athletes. And yeah, after consultations with his PSC board members and several strategic planning sessions with key personnel in the agency, he unveiled the broad policies on the sports program PSC Sports Hour. And after that event, after that interview, the Women's Indoor and Para Games Festival kicked off, beginning with the bowling competition. And as part of the campaign for women in sports, this is another project of our Commissioner Olivia Bonku, our Women in Sports Oversight, and of course the PSC with the theme of Dash to the Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games. And on Sunday, the Philippine Sports Commission, through the office of Commissioner Olivia Bonku, formally opened the Women's Indoor and Para Games Festival as part of the agency's early preparations for the 2024 Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games, or what we call the IMAG. And of course, present there were Chef de Mission for IMAG and Karate Pilipinas Sports Federation President Richard Lim, together with Philippine Commission on Women Executive Director Attorney Christine Yuzon Chavez, with the National Chess Federation of the Philippines President Mr. Prospero Pichay, with the Netball President Attorney Charlie Ho, and Philippine Pole and Aerial Sports Association President Ms. Ciara Soto. And of course, the one that we were looking out for, or we were trying to get a hold of, was the chess rising talent Nika Juris Nicolas, who was recently recognized as the youngest national master in chess, who was also awarded for her numerous achievements at a young age. And on Tuesday, the Philippine Sports Commission brought about 25 athletes to represent the 247 medalists of the 32nd Southeast Asian Games to the offices of Pioneer Insurance in Makati City to celebrate their victories. As an incentive, Pioneer Insurance announced that the coverage for all SAEG medalists will be doubled until January of 2024. And of course, led by Olympic silver medalist in boxing Nesty Petesio, the athletes expressed their utmost appreciation for the recognition of their efforts. And that's it for our PSC this week. And tune in for more updates using our social media platforms. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our guests for today. And yeah, our guest for today had recently gone or came back from the 21st Asian Youth 10-pin bowling championships in Bangkok, Thailand. And we're really proud of them with their recent achievements. And yeah, we have their coach, I'm sorry about that. Coach Joe Slowinski, together with some of our athletes, that's Artegal Barrientos and Stephen Diwa. Hello, coach and athletes. Would you like to introduce yourselves or say hi to our viewers for today?
Hello, everyone. We're great. We're really excited to be here and share insights into the real big success of recent time.
Thank you for that, coach. To our athletes, for Art and Stephen, how are you feeling after the competitions? How was the event? And yeah.
Super saya pa kasi nakauwi ng we brought home 2 medals.
Opo. For me, parehas po din sa feeling. Sobrang saya po namin. Parang lahat ng hard work na ginawa namin for this tournament nag-pay off po.
And we're really proud. Ang daming tumutok sa achievements nyo. We even posted about it. And ang daming reactions from our um, sports fans. And yeah, I would like to ask, were there any learnings that you've picked up from the competitions, Art? Especially for Art?
I mean, sa akin, syempre, there are a lot of learnings. No matter pag nanalo or natalo. Pero sa akin, siguro ang isang learning talaga na mas umano sa akin is focus on the process and having great patience talaga to the game. Kasi most of the time, I mean, ako din naging problem ko dati is masyado akong naka-focus sa resulta, parang gusto ko palagi manalo. Pero yun nga sinabi sa akin ni Coach Joe, just focus on the process and just focus on making great shots and then and don't look at the scores talaga. And yun nga po, having great patience is another key talaga. Kasi may times talaga na things get tough pero kailangan natin siya mag-get over.
So speaking about that, were there any particular struggles that you went through throughout the competitions na pwede mong i-share or if it's okay for you to share?
I mean, definitely, meron naman talagang struggles na na-encounter ko within the tournament po. Especially dun sa doubles event kasi yung particular oil pattern is para sa akin mas mahirap. Kaya pero after that naman, kinausap naman kami ni Coach Joe to prepare for the team event na parang forget about it and then yung team event yung parang main focus namin since yun pa yung parang pinaka-importanting event sa tournament.
So how about for Stephen naman? For the team event, for the how did you feel throughout the competitions?
So, una nung team event, nakakaba kasi nasa ano kami nun eh. Like, buti nakahabol, 14, first day. Yung first day, 14 kami, then umakyat ng third game, naging 4. Then second day, we just do the process, then just keep on hitting the target. And then, di kami tumitingin talaga sa scores ng second game and yung last game din. And nakahabol. And yun, sa last game yung more pressure.
And for your achievement for the team's event, napakalaking bagay nun, no? Ending the 42-year dry spell for the boys team of four since 1981, one for the books. And how was it accomplishing that title or securing that title? How did you feel afterwards? Stephen?
Masaya po kasi sobrang tagal na natin hindi nanalo ng gold eh. And very happy din kaming lahat. I mean, the boys team, the girls team, and the coaches also, and the supporters. Kasi tagal, 42 years na hindi nakakuha ng gold.
And it's another record for Art, no? Kasi yung Boys Masters event, last win natin 1996. So the other one since 1981, and then this one your win was in 1996. How did you feel overall? Kasi sobrang grabing achievement nun. Oh, I think there's something wrong with the audio, Art. Okay. Later na lang while Art tries to fix his audio. Um, okay. Okay. So for Stephen naman, as you've gone to international competitions compared to Art na more on local titles and opens ang meron si Art. How was this competition any different from the previous ones that you've participated in, Stephen?
Mga past competitions internationally, like, kinukuha ko yung mga learnings nun, mga past international competition, then I bring it to this Asian Youth Championship. Like, yung mga ano natutunan ko ng mga past competitions, nilagay ko dito sa AYC na to. Then, good naman yung outcome.
Okay, I'd like to ask Coach about it. How were, in your perspective, Coach, how were their performances in this recent Asian Championships? In your perspective. And oh, I think there's something wrong with the audio. I'm sorry, Coach. I think you're muted,
Okay,
Coach.
here we go.
Okay, thank
Uh,
you.
Sorry about that. Could you ask your question one more time, please?
Oh, I would like to ask you about their performances in your perspective. How were their performances in the Asian Championships?
Well, to win the overall boys title against Korea, Malaysia, Singapore is a major accomplishment. I think that's the first time ever. 42 years since a gold in the team, 27 years since the Masters gold. That speaks volumes. One, to our preparation. We really worked hard. We had three different zones for medium, three different zones for long for our preparations. The goal was that we would be able to be confident and competent in any part of the lane that we would need to be, including angular changes, speed changes, other release changes. So that really helped because we did a lot of changes. And the key, though, was the meeting after doubles. Doubles was not great emotional control wise. So for them to buy into the whole process and be good teammates, we talked a lot about being a good teammate. From your experience, what have other people done that have distracted you? And they bought in 100%. We didn't look at the scores, so we started 14th in the first game of the first day, and we were 209 pins down with one game remaining behind the gold medal, and we won the gold because, in fact, I told them at the end, I said, I'm really proud of you guys. I think we've got a bronze medal. And then one of the teammates on the women's team came down crying, and somebody told me, and I had to sit down. I was shocked. And then everybody was crying and hugging. And the fact that they bought into emotional control and being a good teammate and just focusing on the work on the lane allowed them to achieve amazing things. I mean, the performance in game three, the last game on day one, and the performance in game six, the last game on day two, was a testament. I had players tell me, I don't even remember who we were bowling with on the last day, the last game. That says to me that they were really in a zone and focus. So I'm incredibly proud of these young men for buying in, trusting, and committing to one another. And more importantly, when you wear the jersey of your nation, that's an honor and a privilege. So we know we were fighting for the whole country, and the country was behind us. Uh, and it was extra special to make history by doing that miraculous comeback. But I'm really incredibly proud of these young men.
That's a wonderful thing to say, Coach. And again, as a nation, as the nation, we're really proud of our athletes with their recent achievement. And yeah, congratulations again to our team. And one quick question, I would just like to ask, what about the performance of our girls team, Coach?
We were very, very proud of them. They were in medal contention through day one and fought with great pride and effort in day two. We fell short. Malaysia jumped us, and the team finished fourth. Uh, I'm really, really proud. We had a very young player make it into the Masters, so that experience that she went through will help her be more successful in the future. So we're incredibly proud of the team. They were incredibly supportive, both the guys of the girls and the girls of the guys. And the unit really worked together and we're a great team. Spent a lot of time off the lanes together uh, with team building and really a special, special group. We're very proud of their performance.
I guess it all boils down to the training. it's not all just about the technical skills. It's about the motivation you brought upon them and how they've handled themselves. It's not about the skills alone. It's more of um, the way you coach them, the way you try to um, ask how they are, and how you try to, what do you call this, coax them into feeling good about themselves, even though they're going through some stuff. And yeah, I guess it's all about the guidance as well, not just in the overall skills, more of being self-assured in the way they're performing in the competitions. And we thank you a lot for that, coach. And how's it going for you since you've only been recently tapped by the bowling federation to coach our athletes? How is it going for you? And with all these achievements, how is it overall?
Yeah, I really love being in the Philippines. The Filipino people are amazing people. I feel incredibly supported. And the bowling community is incredibly proud of these young men and women. All of the comments, including the legends, of course, Commissioner Bonku and Pang. And we do want to give a special thank you to Commissioner Bonku and also Chairman Bachman for their support. They really helped make this a very successful trip. Uh, but I'm really proud of the work that we do. And anytime you go to a new country and start the process, it takes time for people to buy in and understand what you're trying to do. And I feel like we've made great strides, in particular in the last 6 weeks. We're going to really work hard for our preparations for the World Championships, which then is really a preparation event for the IMAG February, March of next year. So I thank everyone for their support, including Stephen and Art, who make me laugh a lot. And I enjoy the whole experience with them. Really amazing young people.
Thank you for that, coach. And I guess we're good to go with art. And I would like to ask, seeing your recent win, the last one was 1996. How did it feel? You were known locally for your achievements in the local scene, but now you're winning gold sa international. Kamusta yung pakiramdam?
Hello. Hello. I mean, sa akin ngayon, honestly, after nung panalo ko dun sa Masters, sobrang hindi po ako makapaniwala. Parang pakiramdam ko po nananaginip ako kasi parang ang tagal-tagal ko hinihintay na parang manalo ng gold medal para sa bansa natin sa ibang bansa. Tapos magawa ko pa sa parang ganun na fashion, parang sobrang nakakatuwa po talaga.
Sobrang nagulat talaga lahat and sobrang proud kami sa nagawa mong achievement. And back to back pa yun with the boys team, and sobrang galing talaga. And um were there any pressure since the last win was in 1996 nga? Was there any pressure on your part, on your end?
I mean, sa akin naman, going to the masters naman, sa tingin, hindi ko na pinressure sarili ko na parang kailangan ko pa ano. Kasi, madami nagsasabi naman, parang ang masters, parang bonus na lang po. Pero sa akin naman, syempre, I fought hard until the end. And then, parang whatever happens, happens. And then, yun nga po, hanggang sa, hindi ko pala na-realize din na after nung first day, nasa top 3 contenders po ako for a medal. And then, ayun nga, sa last day po, lumaban na lang po hanggang dulo. And then, ayun, na-climb up the ladder and won the gold for our country.
Sobrang nakaka-inspire po talaga. And for coach po ulit, this is a question for Zach. Coming from a win on the last Singapore International Open, how were his preparations different from the Asian Youth Championships in Thailand? Were there any difference with regards to training or yeah preparations?
Yeah, he has a very dedicated training routine.
Mm-mm.
So that was a good opportunity for us to spend time together in the tournament venue. And we communicate a lot throughout the training because he can't be here. So we share the training program, the training plan. He gives feedback, I give feedback to him. And he's a very humble guy and works really, really hard. So the preparations are a little more focused when you're doing a championship preparation. Open vents are different because you have re-entry. So you're trying to get 3 games and 3 games together. When you're working with championships, you're really trying to, in particular, when there's multiple patterns, you're trying to prepare the players for multiple areas of the lane and the skills they'll need to implement during the actual competition, especially with specific bowling balls that will match up for the lane conditions and the lane environment. So it's a little bit more focused training. Uh, and also, there's more motivation because you're going to be bowling for your country and also for your teammates. Um, I will say one thing about pressure for art. One of the big organizers in the Asian region is a Filipino, and he turned to Art and said, "Oh, Art, if you win the gold, you guys will win the overall boys medal." So I was not very happy that he did this, but it actually worked out in the end. So that it was probably the most proud I was of the group is when we were handed the overall boys trophy. That was an amazing accomplishment. But that did put some pressure on us that I was hoping that didn't have to be there.
Well, I guess it was a good motivation overall. So all good in the end.
True.
And I'd like to comment more about Zach. Um, he's going to undergo his mandatory military service for next year. What preparations are you do you have for him? How about this mindset for the upcoming competitions, if there are any, Coach?
Uh, he has been approved to participate in the World Championships in Kuwait. So he's an official member of the 6 man roster. So we will continue to do the work that we had done, for example, for the prep for the Asian Youth Championship. We will have training preparation for the World Championship. So we'll continue that relationship that we have with constant communication, sharing of the training plan, and getting feedback to one another. Uh, After that, we have to see about for example, is there a drop dead deadline? We're working on finding out. The board has not yet approved the roster for IMAG. It has been submitted, and we are optimistic that it'll be approved. That'll allow us to have 6 to 7 months of training preparation as a single unit, because we'll take that group and train them separately. So there'll be 4 players and 1 reserve. We also have some potential plans of doing an international training camp abroad in preparation for IMAX. So we will be in constant communication with him, and that's the challenge, but it's working out well so far.
Do you have any? I you probably have one, but maybe know who are the athletes who will be competing in the Bangkok Open?
Right now, we have 5 men and 5 women going. They have been named to the World Championship roster. Uh, so it will be Merwin, Patrick, Ivan, Zach, and JP. On the women's side, it is Alexis, Lara, Diane, Grace, and uh, wait. Rachel. You put me on
Also,
the spot on that one.
so currently, Stephen and Art are taking a break from the competitions.
They will be, but we have some plans for these guys and also the women's. We want to keep this youth group moving forward. We really feel strongly and optimistic about their future, and we want to do some specialized training for them to, one, boost their motivation and also improve their skill level and continue the journey that was started together. Uh, so the next time that group can be ready for the World Youth Championships in upcoming years.
How about for Stephen? After achieving this recent gold, are there any titles in mind that you would like to achieve in the future, in the upcoming competitions?
If there's a World Youth, the the team event
Kasi si
and
coach ang dami niyang ano eh, ang dami niyang plano for you guys. Sobrang hopeful niya, talagang ina-aspire niya or talagang dedicated siya sa team niyo as you've mentioned earlier. So, are there any personal titles or yeah, personal titles that you're looking forward to achieving on your end?
if yung World Youth, team event pa.
So, you've heard that, coach, ah? Yeah. I guess you're all
Yes, I
looking
mean we
forward to.
stressed, yeah, we stressed so much the team event because in my mind, I think also in the players' mind, it's the collective performance of a nation. So when you win the team event, and in our case, beating Korea, beating the home host Thailand, beating Singapore, beating Malaysia, the powerhouses of the region. You know, one of the reasons I came here was I'm a student of the history of bowling, and I know how successful the Philippines has been historically in the past. And I really was motivated to come and share my experience and knowledge and enthusiasm because I want to be a small part of helping the country regain its prominence in the region, but also in the world of bowling. And there's an immense amount of talent. We do have a lot of work to do in regard to the youth development because Singapore and Malaysia in particular have very deep, many youth bowlers, and there's a lot of work that we need to do. But that was also one of the reasons I came here too, is I like working on both sides, the youth development side and the high end elite side. So it's the potential is very strong uh, to achieve a lot. But yeah, Steven's right on the money. It's team first. That's our number one goal. And we want to be our best in the team event. Everything works towards the team event. And the commitment to each other and to work to the end no matter what. Laban, Laban, Laban.
I'd like to dive into what you've mentioned earlier. Are there any particular sports programs that's currently ongoing in your in the bowling federation for the grassroots to further scout for talents, younger talents to get into bowling? Are there any particular um, yeah, programs?
The local associations have youth programs. One of the things here I am here to support as well through curriculum, coach certification, and training. That's one of the goals that we have. So through that, we can train the coaches to modernize techniques and also have a curriculum to develop players earlier. For example, Shaolin in Malaysia was World Bowler of the Year at 14. Jazril Tan in Singapore made the national team at 14. So if we do a really good job at the beginning end, we should start to see bowlers that are 13, 14, 15, 16 being at an elite level already. So that by the time they go through that 10-year elite cycle, that they're able to be world champions at that particular time. So local associations, I'm seeing some new programs starting with 24 players coming out. There's a program that's starting in August. I've been asked to go to a few different areas in August to support the youth training and also to help with the coaches. And we want to formalize that. One of the things that I'm proposing to the Federation is a localized Manila-based elite training that our national team coaches would be involved in so that we can train the players locally at an elite level so that we can develop them quicker and be ready for the youth training pool and then eventually the national training pool.
So, for Art and Stephen, I just like to ask, anong age kayo nag-start mag-bowling?
Ako po 12 years old. Nag-start ako ng
12. How about for Art?
Hello. Ako po, I started bowling siguro mga 7 years old po.
Ooh, okay. 7? Grabe pala yung ano nun, no? Oh, for coach? 2 year...
Two,
Sorry, 2?
2 years
Coach?
old. Yes,
2 years
my
old?
father was a youth director for 25 years, so I started at 3 years old.
Wow. That's so young, coach. Um, Seeing that you're a veteran now in bowling and now you're coaching athletes, are there any particular routines or training regimens that you would like to or that you're currently sharing with your athletes or your boys or the girls as well?
Yeah, one of the things we did was really put in a lot of structured training programs. So specific amount of time per specific task and technique. Also building a lot of team bowling concepts within the training, skill development. We're going to continue doing that in a structured way. With the youth development, we also would have a lot of physical game drills so that they're able to develop more quickly. One of the things we're exploring is how we could have bowling training outside of lanes so that we can keep the fees structured down, but the bowlers could train for physical game. Either we're exploring some possibilities to make that happen. That would make really help us evolve much quicker with the youth development side. We will be implementing sports psychology, fitness and conditioning, nutrition. These are things that we'll be moving towards in a more serious way, in particular for that group preparing for IMAG. But that will then translate over to the full national training pool program in the future.
So is it safe to say, coach, that you're actively involved in the curriculum development of the bowling scouting of bowling or bowling talents?
Well, I think once we have a formalized curriculum and that we have a more focused coach certification program, that'll make it easier to do that. When it's currently very decentralized, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to do that in a way that, for example, when I worked in Malaysia, I would travel around to all 13 states, for example, sometimes 35 days in a row, where we would train the coaches, we would work with the players and see them implementing the curriculum. I'm hopeful that we can get to the point there. With the recent success of the Asian Youth Championship team, one of the things that we're optimistic about is increased sponsorship because we want to increase the number of youth bowlers across the country and have a structured program to help them develop. For example, in Malaysia, in Sarawak alone, there's 1,000 youth bowlers. So in Kuching and Miri, there's 1,000 youth bowlers in one state. So we have a lot of work to do to grow the sport. One of the things we need to hopefully accomplish in the future is getting bowling back into, for example, the private schools games, the school games, and these other events that other sports are showcased. That would help our youth development process. So, this is one of the challenges, growing the sport, that we can have enough people involved and training at a high level to develop the next wave of talent that would feed into the system for a decade or so.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, coach. And are there any age range that you're looking into for that grassroots program of bowling?
There's a couple things that for consideration. The way the brain works, there's a synaptic pruning process at the age of 12. So if you haven't done something in a motor movement pattern before that, the gray matter connections to make your brain more efficient go away. So that's why most world class talent starts anywhere from, say, 5 to 11 years old. So it's really important that that first wave of grassroots from, say, 5 to 11 be focused and develop efficient movement patterns early. The other side is there's a group of young people in, say, the 9 to 15-year olds right now. One of the things we want to do is develop them with a more structured program so that they can feed into the system. For example, like Art and Steven and Mark and Zach, we want to have their level, but have more people at that level earlier. That way they motivate each other to work harder, and the whole system rises. So by the time you get to the top level, everybody is world class. So there's two levels right now. We want to make sure that there's enough young women going into the pipeline for the national training program, and we need to catch them now in that 9, 10 to 15-year-old group, train them up so that they can be ready for the national training pool.
Okay. Questions for Art and Steven. Since kayo talaga nag-undergo kayo nung mismong process na yun. For Art, sabi mo 7 years old nag-start ka na mag-bowling. So how does it feel going through the entire process from 7 years old and now teen ka na? How is it the overall process of this grassroots program? Kasi dati local scene lang, international gold medals agad. Paano kamusta paano yung process? How do you feel overall sa naging journey mo sa bowling?
I mean, syempre, timely siya talaga and requires patience nga. Pero like yung overall process, syempre, madaming ano, honestly, hindi din siya naging madali. Kasi, I experienced din naman many lows sa bowling career ko, pero I pursued din na parang ipagpatuloy ko to kasi alam ko eventually one day magpi-pay off siya, and ngayon nag-pay off na po siya, and hopefully I could bring more medals for our country po in the near future po and to represent po.
How about for you, Steven, na 12 years old nag-start na mag-bowling, tas now winning gold for the country na?
Oh yeah,
How was
12
the
years old ako.
process for you?
So, nung 12 years old ako, like when I started bowling, lagi ako like 5 times a week to bowling ako. Like ako lang mag-isa, me and my dad. And every day kami naglalaro. Then, like, maybe like mga 13 or 14, I started maybe like local tournaments dito. Then, laro lang ako naglaro. Then, there you go. Na, maybe when I was like 17, dun na. Yeah.
So, it was more of a hobby for you. Nag-start as a hobby with your dad, tas nag-progress na into something na personally you would like to achieve na on your own?
Opo.
Sorry. And again, congratulations ulit sa lahat ng achievements na nabigay nyo sa ating bansa. And for a final message for our athletes, would you like to thank or yeah, could you please thank or yeah, your final messages for our viewers that are currently watching, since this is aired nationwide? What would you like to say to our viewers and to our Filipino sports fans?
We tried to represent everyone with great pride. And I think we did an amazing job. That the young men and women fought until the end. And I think that's a good message for all sports athletes is if you focus on the process 100% and you commit to being a good teammate and not be selfish and have emotional control, you can achieve things that you didn't even imagine you could. And keep working hard Be prepared for any possibility, including the unexpected.
And you could, of course, invite them to their upcoming or to our team, national team's upcoming competitions.
Yes, of course. Although you'll have to travel to Kuwait to the World Championship in early October, but we would love to have some fans there. So we invite you to travel to Kuwait, although you might want to get your visa application in early, from what I'm hearing. But certainly, yes. We have a little bit of a break to work hard and train, but we encourage and invite everyone to come support us in Kuwait.
And for our athletes, would you like to thank our audience, our Filipino sports fans? Art.
First of all, I would like to thank po Commissioner Bongko and Chairman Bachman po for helping us to make this trip possible. Without them po, hindi po magiging posible itong lahat. Second off, gusto kong pasalamat sa family and friends ko and to the people watching us noong tournament po. Watching back yung pagsuporta ng mga Filipino people sa amin, sobrang nakakatuwa po sobra. And to my coaches po, Coach Joe, Coach Jojo, Coach Orlin, Coach Ray, thank you so much for guiding us to the right path in bowling, and hopefully we could bring more medals to the future po.
Thank you po sa PSC, Philippine Sports Commission, to Coach Joe, Coach B-Boy, Coach Jojo, Coach Ray, Coach Arlene, and also to my family, also to my teammates, and to the girls team, and to the supporters.
And I guess it's the same sentiments for both Mark and Zach na of course, thankful sila sa naging achievements and overall support ng Filipinos sa naging result ng nakaraang competitions. And yeah, again, thank you po Coach thank you Coach for accepting our invitation for this interview, and we will be back for a few seconds after a few reminders from our agency.
Pocari Sweat presents The Sweat You Forget. Hello there, I'm Carrie. You see, it's the sweat that you forget that's dehydrating you. Like work from home overtime, oversleeping, being in cold temperatures, having caffeinated drinks, or alcohol, fighting a fever, and even crying. But you can always recover with Pocari Sweat. Because of these ions, we can help with your body's rehydration. So remember the sweat you forget and always stay hydrated.
Pocari Sweat.
Pocari Sweat presents The Sweat You Forget. Hello there, I'm Carrie. You see, it's the sweat that you forget that's dehydrating you. Like work from home overtime, oversleeping, being in cold temperatures, having caffeinated drinks, or alcohol, fighting a fever, and even crying. But you can always recover with Pocari Sweat. Because of these ions, we can help with your body's rehydration. So remember the sweat you forget and always stay hydrated.
Pocari Sweat.
Pocari Sweat presents The Sweat You Forget. Hello there, I'm Carrie. You see, it's the sweat that you forget that's dehydrating you. Like work from home overtime, oversleeping.
At doon na nga po nagtatapos ang ating interview with our bowling team with Coach Joe, Art, and Stephen. At sayang nga po at di natin nakasama si Mark tsaka si Zach. At sobrang dami nga pong inspiring na messages from our team. And again, we would like to invite everyone to their upcoming competitions and of course offer our all-out support sa kanilang upcoming competitions. And again, on behalf of our PSC Board Chairman Richard Bachman, Commissioner Edward Heiko, Commissioner Matthew Gaston, Commissioner Walter Torres, and of course our Lady Commissioner Olivia Boncu, nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyong pagtangkilik sa ating programa. At sa ating mga current viewers ngayon, at nag-comment nga po si Gab Ferreras, saying good afternoon from Sports Corner PH, at pati na rin po si Miss Ruby Hamon, if that's correct. And thank you as well for tuning in sa ating programa. And of course, to our active likers and those na nag-offer ng reactions, thank you po sa patuloy na pagsuporta sa ating programa. And if you want to know more updates about the current happenings sa ating agency, you can always check out our social media platforms. For our Facebook, that's at Phil Sports Commission, and for Twitter, for any trending topics and sports news, you can always check our Twitter account, that's at PSC_gov, and for the latest happenings and latest achievements of our athletes, you can always check our Instagram, that's at Phil.sportscommission, and for live updates and of course ang ating videos of our athletes, you can always check our YouTube channel and also subscribe. That's Philippine Sports Commission. And for official updates, you can always check our website. That's psc.gov.ph. And again, on behalf of the Public Communications Office, Ma'am Malin, and sa lahat ng ating mga PCO members, thank you sa pagtutok sa ating programa. And we'll see you I'll see you next or this Friday sa ating PSC Hour on Radyo Pilipinas DOS. And of course, for next week's episode of PSC Chatroom. Again, goodbye and thank you for tuning in. See you next week.